Black who's going to go for it. Black for the 1 point to win the grand final for Halifax, and he's done it. Ben Black strikes.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Talking Fax of Life, sponsored by Eclipse Energy, your weekly rugby league podcast with just a hint of Halifax Rugby League about it. Joining me as always is producer extraordinaire, Mr. Rick Farrell. How are you doing? You with the wave. And it's a family affair this week. Joining us is old friend of the show, Mr. Richard Brewster. And his little lad, Ryan Brewster. Hello.
Yeah.
How are you both doing?
I'm good.
Yeah, we're still here, still same.
Us three have got our lockdown scared heads going on, and Rick is just covering it up.
Covering it up, yeah.
Doing about that. We're not coming to talk about lockdown and haircuts. We're here to talk about rugby league. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. So let's treat our guest with the respect he deserves. Ryan Brewster, jack of all trades. Master of hopefully one, because hopefully we'll get to see in the blue and white of Halifax as well as the blue and white of Siddal in the future. You've got a very, very privileged position out of all of us, really. You get to see the game at a very, very interesting vantage point as a ball boy at the moment.
Yeah.
What's that like? How did you get into it?
Well, I was watching a reserve game against St Helens, I think a couple of years ago now, and then they were a bit short on ball boys, and Sean Rothery asked me to just help out, and then ever since then I've just ball boyed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's it like being right on the sideline in the middle of a game, middle of a tough championship game?
Well, it's good because you can hear what the players actually saying to the referee, what they're saying to the players opposition. Muzz is always giving mouthing off to each other and everything. It's just, yeah.
And did you hear what Brandon Moore said to the referee at was it the York game at the end of last season?
I was too far away for that one.
Good answer.
For the best.
It's a family podcast, literally a family podcast this week. So can you hear and feel the hits as they go in and stuff like that?
As you you can hear the smack and you just go, ooh, you can tell that one.
And do you feel a little bit of pressure? Have you ever got abuse off players for being a bit slow and giving the ball back? I know that there's been stories of, let's just say, home ball boys being tactical and giving the ball back.
Well, match officials are always strict, to be honest, because sometimes they tell you before a game you've got to do the right stuff. It's just, and you got to follow the rules, otherwise just.
Yeah, but sorry. You did walk up to a player wanting a quick return and just put the ball at his feet and walked off, didn't you?
Yeah.
That always makes me laugh where, apparently that's what you're supposed to do. My dad always says, ball boys have to put the ball on the touchline and that's it. But you see it every week. If it's a home player, you pass it straight to him. If it's a away player, do that. And then
you don't have to pass it to him. You have to put it down. You have to. You can't.
So, if Scott Morrell comes up to you and goes, pass the ball, you're not going to literally put it back.
But I remember Adam always used to tell me, slow it down, or depending what score it is, he'll just tell me to slow it down or something like that.
Out of the squad?
Yeah.
Hey, can't have a game without balls. If all boys, all girls can't do the job, then that's there. You also do the scoreboard as well, along with your old man.
Well, we've not done that for a couple of years now. We did it, and then they got the electrical one.
Well, they found someone more qualified, I think.
There was that, yeah. He could add up. So it's a key part of the job, really. And they've also got more than 3 number 2s now. Because the entire time I did it, I was dreading a game getting to 22 apiece. It never happened, right? It never happened, but there was only 3 number 2s. And now when I get a game be 22-18, right, and I'll be thinking, oh, what's going to happen now? I swear. I'll be like, oh no, what happens now? If we put a try over and Tyler has a blip and don't kick it for whatever reason, right? What am I going to do?
Can you imagine if it were like the 22 was made up of 2 drop goals as well, so you have to have 2 in the...
The 5 little 2s, the little red ones, but the big black ones, yeah, there was only 3 of them. So,
which was the game where you had a bit of a hiccup and might have...
I remember that one. It was against Sheffield.
Was it against you?
Missy Talapapa.
No, fighting with Talapapa. Was it only that, or
There was one where the South Stand chanted to get the score changes.
That was the day it were raining, so I went and sat in the skirt coat, and I didn't put the conversion. I went and sat down. So, but then there was another time, right? Another time, I got away with it actually, but I was saying something to Telepathy about something. I think when he was at Sheffield.
Because he said it was a flop and you was like, next night.
He was screaming about to referee about a flop, and I'm like, shut up, get up, carry on. Right? He starts mouthing off at me. Next minute, Tyler sets off down the pitch with ball. I just sort of went, he was like, just took off after him. And every time he came near to me, he was having a right go at me about it. And at the end of the game, he was having a go at me. It was bloody Adam Robinson and Morel came over, make sure I'm not about to get my head taken off. But yeah, funny. Yeah, you do hear stuff down there.
Yeah. Tommy
Saxton was great when he was playing on wing because he used to he'd do tackle count for the team. I think Will Sharp did it as well. You'd hear him shouting out tackles.
Just tackle, second tackle.
Yeah, yeah. He'd make sure they could hear because they were. He'd keep count because he was always stood on the edge hiding with Saxton.
And all he'd ask was how long's left, how long's left.
Constantly asking me what time it is. Like, those who want to get home or something. I don't think he had a tag or something. But what time is it? How long have we got left? What time is it?
I bet you hear all sorts, which, yes, because it's not necessarily a youth certificate podcast is this, but I just bet you hear all sorts on the field.
Oh, you did, yeah. I mean, you did. It's interesting to hear linesmen talking to referee half at time as well. Because if you tell referee someone's offside and you're thinking, well, why is he not doing anything about it? It'd be like, seven's offside, 7 minutes tackle. Carries on. It's like,
one of the advantages of having a dad as a qualified match official is I know all those geeky stuff. Yeah. One watches the line, the other one watches the attack. If they don't cross the corner flag, don't give them the try. My dad sounds nothing like that, by the way, but yeah, sorry.
What annoys me about referees and linesmen is they've got linesmen, assistant referees, touches, whatever you want to call them, whatever they call this season. They're there to help. And you sometimes, you see a referee, you can speak to them, get their opinion, ask them what they've seen. You see another referee, they might have them over there. You know,
right.
You know, he'll wait by the corner flag because he's seen something. He's not giving the try. Referee goes and gives the try. Don't even speak to him. At least go and speak to him.
As rugby league fans, all we ever want is consistency in decisions.
Yeah,
consistency.
I don't mind if you get a ref who makes mistakes, who's rubbish, but as long as they're consistent for both teams and that sort of thing, then I don't mind that.
Being consistent in the way they actually come about the outcome, it's just the way that you make decisions. Like you say, there's certain types of refs that don't want the linesman's input. They're there to just do maybe one job or two jobs. And then you get some that maybe the younger ones with the older linesmen that really need the input. So I'd just like to see just the way that they run a game maybe looked at across a spectrum rather than just them having their own individual styles as referee. Because how many sports in the world do we know where we've got one sport and is there like 4 sets of rules, 5 sets of rules?
Yeah, like it is, and it's very timely, is because earlier on today, whichever date it is that we record the podcast, the NRL have released a new set of rules for this season where they're going back to one referee. They were, some might say, pioneers of having 2 referees on the field. In to hopefully to is it because is it giving more powers to referees? I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts? But I personally never played with 2 referees because I'm not doing down there. But I'd have thought that, like, before talking on the air, Ryan actually said that a lot of the dark arts which go on to play the ball, which is sometimes missed by one referee over here, you don't necessarily see over in the NRL. So it's a strange one, really. What are your guys' thoughts on that change? Do you reckon it's more, as you say, Rick, is it to bring it more into line of the game just having one set of rules?
Maybe it's to do with the participation numbers of match officials. Let's face it, we're not queuing up to all take part ourselves, are we? So it's hard to.
Why would you?
Yeah, exactly. So
there was designs on moving to 2 match officials, like 2 on-field referees in this country, but it went quiet. I never actually I must have missed the announcement that they weren't going to do it.
Like I say, it's got to be a numbers thing.
It's got to be in numbers. But again, the officials don't get the protection that they deserve because they heard the story. What was it? Where was it? The wife of or girlfriend of a match official came out and said of what happened at one nameless ground or whatever, where they chased him back to his car or something, and that's not.
Did you see that? I'm not sure if it were Newsom where he's driving out of the ground and they're all banging on his car and stuff.
Yeah. That was what happened. As I say, it's a tricky one. You say, how are you going to attract people to do something?
I can't believe they don't do ex-players, lads that have been respected.
Yeah,
they've tried it, haven't they? And but Jamie Bloom got disillusioned. We lose that many match officials under shady circumstances.
It's a shady business.
There was that lad. What's he called now? Yeah, ginger hair.
Stoke.
Yeah, he left and he went, I'm leaving because of problems at the RFL. He made some accusations and that. I can't remember the exact.
Yeah.
But a number of referees have they've walked away from the game because they've had problems within the RFL. So if they can't look after them there, Jamie Bloom, when he left, he made all sorts of comments on that which got a lot of press.
Who was the young lad who took his own life?
Leather Barrow
as well, and it was. I mean, it's such a sad.
I don't know if it's related to the actual refereeing and stuff. He might have had other demons going on, but it's very, very tricky getting young people in. But the tide's turning really, because you look at Caitlin Beavers, the young Leeds lass, nominated for Young Sports Personality of the Year. She's a match official. I couldn't believe it when I saw on the screen. I think it was West Hull. And then she was touch judging. And it's like...
As well, I've always said, right, you go back 20 years, when believers becoming professional, your referees were probably 40, 50 years old. They were, there's no respect to a current referee, but they were men, right? Men of a certain age who'd been doing it 20 years. They knew it in and out. You couldn't get away with anything because they'd seen it 100 times. Whereas nowadays, you've got people a damn sight younger than us who are almost doing Super League, right? And they can dictate the rule book to you. They can tell you all the rules, technical, but actually policing it because
it's the social side of actually controlling groups of men in that kind of scenario when you're battering into each other. The best refs I always had were the ones that laid down the letter of the law. It were the ones that knew when it was time to pull the captains in, when it was time to calm it down, time to
Go back to school, right? The authoritarian teachers, the ones who you were scared of, but they could make you behave, were the older teachers because they knew how to talk to you. They'd said it. You couldn't put one over their eyes. You couldn't trick them because they'd said it 100 times. Whereas the younger ones, you used to get away with murder.
When I was younger, I'm not blowing my own trumpet here, but I got county trials for both league and union. At league, we had a seminar with James Child. He was a young up-and-coming referee, and it was all about respect the ref. And it was awesome. It was just so boring. You just thought, do this. On the union side of things, the referees had personalities. Like you look at Nigel Owens and stuff like that, and other referees there. You look at
one that's
yes, the one who said this is not soccer. That's like you had to have a laugh with him. And going through a game, and there was more respect because you could actually have a conversation and stuff. And the referees would say, "Look, I knew you were trying to do this, but it's still a penalty. Don't do it again." Rather, league, it seems to be robotical egomaniacs, really. But again, it's a strange one. But again, it comes from the top. Arguably, the biggest robotical egomaniac is the one that's right at the top in Ganson. So
that's the thing,
a good referee, you don't know who's refereeing the game at the end of it because you haven't seen them.
Exactly.
You only notice a referee if he's either blowing the whistle constantly, which sometimes that's down to the teams, right? If it's a nitty game, there's another nitpicking, fair enough. But if he's blowing up on trivial things or getting stuff wrong, you know who that referee is.
Yeah. You don't want those sort of games. Like
the referees are anonymous.
Yeah. And like and you're absolutely right. It's a team's fault. If referees constantly blowing for penalties all the time, it's the team's fault. If he set his stall out for what he's looking for, like when I was playing under 18s rugby and uni rugby and stuff, we'd always say first 10 minutes, let's test out the ref.
Yeah.
Let's hold down a little bit longer. Let's put in some hard tackles. After a kicker kicks ball going for, let's see what he's going to penalise, and then you dictate the game from that. But and you get referees so right, I'm not having this, I'm not having that, and the other. Whereas now it seems a bit grey.
I don't know what it was like when you were playing, but there's a thing at the minute. Whenever we go and play in Hull,
Black and white, I think.
No, whenever Ryan goes and plays in Hull, you hear if you get a Hull ref, you'll get nothing. If you're not a Hull team, you'll get nothing from them, right? And I get that because we went and played, no, not before school, who was it, West Hull? Played West Hull in a friendly a few years ago, right? And the referee gave them everything. Siddal still won.
Well, Siddal have had quite a rivalry with West Hull, haven't they, over the years?
At open age, definitely. So this referee gave them everything, right? But Siddal still won. And West Hull were apparently unbeaten at this point. But not who they've been playing against. Went over a few months later to play Siddal. And obviously friendly before the cup game. Obviously, Skirlow's like you go past Hull and keep going, you almost fall into the North Sea. You can see tulips in the distance, right? That's how far it is. And we get there, and there's a bloke there, and he welcomes us and that, shows us the dressing room. We thought there's someone from Skirlow, he's a referee, right? Lovely fella. Skirlow turned up, saw him, didn't have a good word to say about him. They could not stand him. It was like, well, he's meant to be on your side, and he's a Hull ref. Oh, he won't be on our side, he hates us. And then, but to be fair, the biggest argument Skirlow had, right? There was about 36-0 down in the first half, and they were arguing about it being a 30-minute half, not a 25-minute half. And I'm like, if 30-0 down, do you really want to play any longer than you need to? And they were screaming at him. He's like, no, it's 25 minutes, and they were like, no, we're playing for 30. We're playing for 30. We were just like, we'll do whatever.
What's the standard of refereeing like playing nowadays, Ryan, as the only active rugby league player out of the four of us? What would you say is it like? Are they good with you? Do they interact well with you? You know, are they training the young lads better than we've seen maybe some of the previous ones?
I mean, there's quite a few good ones. Like there's this lad who refed us against Elland, and then he was good. He made that fair. Like he was fair between both teams. He'd give the right decisions. And then a couple of weeks later, we saw him with reffing Leeds under-16s versus
New South Wales.
Yeah.
You know that tall inside that came across. And,
yeah.
He did that game for under-16s. He's a good ref. He's about 21, 22. But he's a good ref. I think someone said he still plays as well. I don't know about that. I think he plays somewhere in Huddersfield, but he'll go places if he wants to. At the end of that game at Edinburgh, right, everyone said he'd been a brilliant ref, and it was a bit of a feisty game because half the Siddal kids go to school at Edinburgh kids and that. So
it's a local rivalry.
Yeah, they do. You've always got a bit of bad blood on that, and Edinburgh and Siddal, two evenly matched teams. They have some really good games. They're always close. Tempers can flare a bit. And, but referee, he nipped it in the bud straight away. He goes, right, he sat 2 down for 10 minutes. He says, right, that's it now. You've had your fun. Play rugby. Yeah. And they got on with it. And because but I've seen other games. This is the referees not being looked after. He went to a game at Hunslet against Hunslet Club. Hunslet Warriors, sorry, yeah. Getting mixed up next door to each other. Went there, right, and this young girl turned up.
It was a boy.
Oh, so it was a girl, this one. This one was the Hunslet Warriors would fight. He was useless. But this one, right? So this young girl turns up to referee the game.
Oh yeah.
And it's a fairly close game, and she's giving some really strange decisions, and coaches are really getting at her.
Oh, I remember.
And someone came over and said to coaches, "Look, lads, it's the first game. It's the first game she's done. She's only just qualified. It's the first game. Don't give her any more flack. We'll write to the league about it." So they sent this girl down, right, who didn't really know what she was doing. She passed the course, but she had no further support. There was no one there with her to help her.
Wow.
And she was out of her depth doing an under-14, under-13s game between two good sides. And it worked. I did feel sorry for her because she was getting a lot of jip off parents, players, everyone. And she was losing control of the game. So that's when coaches got the players and said, look, go easy on her. let a referee, if she does something strange, let it go. And they looked at league, I don't know what they come back with. They probably just got told stop on play, they probably got fined. But, you know, what support is there for these referees once they've qualified other than here's a whistle, here's some cards, get off down there on a Saturday?
Yeah, like on radio show I did, had quite a lot of people from like junior clubs and stuff, and like the first thing that they promote is learning the game. It's kind of, there's no kind of pressure to win, perform, and it's all about a learning process where you know the game. If you're good enough, that's where you pick up and you take your career forward and that sort of thing. Surely match officials should be given that same support. Like if you're refereeing junior games, then yeah, you're going to make mistakes. All officials make mistakes. We're all human at the end of the day. But
surely, if it's someone's first game, someone should go with them.
Yeah,
like, support more than
it should be kind of known at the start, really, like before the game's even kicked off. So look, first game. But no, it's a strange one. Maybe we need to come back to it. Maybe we need to get an official on the podcast. Maybe my old man might come on. That'd be hilarious. Let's go back to you, Ryan, because obviously young player making his way through the game, playing for Siddal, possibly one of the best amateur clubs in the country. How you find it? What you're getting to that age now where you could be picked up by certain clubs or whatever. What are your goals and aspirations moving forward? And think very carefully about your answer right here.
I mean, I just want to get like stronger, just get stronger and fitter, just progress like through as the years go on. Just want to just have more progress and stuff like that.
I mean, they're very lucky at Siddal. They've got some great facilities. They built the pit, which is like the wrestling gym. I've seen them in that. I've been in once with the boys. I'm not going in again. I'm scared. They just want to kill each other. Genuinely, they're in there, right? They're in there with a ball. I don't know why they bother. They just want to knock the hell out of one another. So I went in, looked at it, I thought, no, I'm not hanging about. I'm not being responsible if someone gets hurt and I left. But you know, they've got some great coaches. Keith Mason, actually. Since they've had lockdown, I've been able to train. He's doing some videos for kids because obviously he's a personal trainer by trade. So he's been doing videos that workouts the kids can do at home and that, and putting them out on WhatsApp and that. So, which is, you know, it's great because his son only joined the club recently, but he's really, he's got involved in that and he's helping out there. So, you know, the coaches,
media training at Siddal as well. Then that were a perfect answer by Ryan to not commit to any particular one club. And
I like that.
Love it. As vague as Boris Johnson, I love it.
If you'd have asked me at 14-year-old what I want to do, I'd be like, I want to play Flying Fax, we'll do it now.
Who do you fancy, South Sydney or Roosters?
Yeah.
I like South Sydney.
Go on, lad, shoot for the stars.
Exactly. That is the best thing to say. It's a very, very good answer because being at Siddal, the spotlight will be on you because, as I say, a massive, massive amateur club.
But I wanted to make a point. I'd love to know the stats of players that have gone through, that have stuck with the game all the way through the system, that have turned professional.
Yeah.
It's absolutely ridiculous. Or have gone to academies at some point. I bet it's astronomical.
If you went out of academies in there, it'd be ridiculously big. If you just go for playing Super League, it's still a high number. You go to Stanley, in their entrance, they've got like a wall of fame, and that is players who've played pro, who've come through the club. And there's about 40 names on that, but it can't be complete. There's no way it's complete when you think Stanley. They've been out for years.
No chance.
Remember, it was Ryan's first game when he first joined Siddal, played over at Stanley, and we were there reading this thing. I said, "Oh, look, Jamie Peacock played here." He goes, "No." I said, "Yeah, Jamie Peacock." Ryan turned around and stood behind him. Wow.
Yeah.
So, but you know, there's some great clubs. There really is. But you know, it's how they're going to keep going because you know the academies now it's only Super League, and I mean Siddal. Right? Siddal's view is their youth is their academy. They're developing players for the first team. That's what they want to do.
Yeah, that's how it should be.
And they accept that, you know, players are going to get picked up and go and play pro. They'll never stand in the way of that because, you know, they can make money out of it. Why not? But Siddal, their ethos is we're training these kids to play at our first team and the adults.
Yep. Absolutely right. But then you get late developers. Weren't Chester Butler playing for Siddal Open Age when he got?
Yeah. Well, Tom Allroyd.
All right.
Oh, for Leeds. Is he?
No, he's one who's at Dewsbury now. Garrett.
Oh,
Garrett.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Garrett, his parents taught me at school. Tom's 24 and he signed his first pro deal last year at Dewsbury. He'd never played pro before. He played rugby as a kid. He played at Siddal, a couple of other teams and that, and he was in first team at Siddal. And it was when Greenwood went to Dewsbury, offered him a deal. And, you know, so, you know that is a late developer at 24 years old signing your first pro deal.
And John Martin as well, because he came through Siddal. When he left Oldham, came back to Siddal, and then went to Dewsbury.
Yeah, he played against Toronto in that cup game, didn't he?
Yeah.
I like Joe Martin, but I think he played one first team Super 8s game.
Salford on there.
And they scored on his first attempted tackle. They went straight through him like he weren't even there. But you were mentioning Dewsbury, and I know it's a bit of a somber note, but have you guys seen the news today?
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah, young lad around 24 died. Yeah, cancer he died of, wasn't it?
Cancer at 24, man. So all thoughts and everything. Love to Dewsbury Rams. If any of them happen to be watching or anyone knows anyone over there, send them love. It's a hard time for all, I'm sure. Another one. Yeah,
and also I can't remember if we mentioned it on previous ones, but Jordan Cox as well.
Yeah.
He's I don't know how, why he went, but it's
anyways, was it 27?
Shocking. 27 on me or something.
Not like that, yeah. 27, 28.
Yeah. No age at all. But yeah, on that sub note, we'll
we haven't talked about it.
We'll say, let's go back to Siddal, because let's go back to Siddal. We'll do that in the second part. So we're going to have a little wet our whistle, put 50p in a metre, and we'll be back on the other side. Hello, and welcome to the second part of Talking the Fax of Life, sponsored by Eclipse Energy. With myself and Rick this week. It's a family affair. We've got father and son combination, Richard and Ryan Brewster. We were talking in the first part about all things Siddal, and because me, Rick, and it's weird calling you Richard. I'll just call you Brew.
Yeah, don't work, does it? You've never called me that ever. Your sister calls me that when she's having a right go at me, which is quite often.
It just remind me of Hyacinth Bouquet. Richard!
Even your parents don't call me Richard.
No one really calls me
Sunday.
Except your mum. Your mum calls you Michael.
Yeah. Let's get off that. Let's get off that, shall we?
If your mum called you Hager, that would be weird.
Yeah. It's strange. I've been called all sorts. I've got like letters to the post which just said Hagion, which is weird. But anyway,
well, I've made a right bother because me and Ryan got the same middle name. We've both got middle name James. So when the post comes now, Mr. R.J. Brewster. Right? I didn't think that through, did I? I really didn't think that through.
No, not at all. Let's say us three remember the old Siddal clubhouse. Is it still called the Reactive Clubhouse or whatever it is?
No. It was CWC Park when they were sponsoring. I don't know if it still is.
Right.
ADD main club sponsor now. I don't know if they've got some sort of. I don't think they've got naming rights on that anymore. I think it's just chilling.
Yeah. But there's fantastic facilities, brand new clubhouse. I remember playing the old Siddal clubhouse, which seemed about 4 or 5 miles from the pitch they were playing on, and then the old communal bath. The old dirty communal bath, if you've been watching.
Great point of Siddal, didn't you?
I used to. Yeah. I remember when I was a young boy playing up at YMCA at Huddersfield. They had the old bath, and you'd all be in bath, and then there's some old man just come in, start bollocking naked. Everyone had the shorts on, and some old bloke had come in with nothing on, and you were like 10 years old. You didn't need to see it. I know at different times back then, but you know, put your shell suit back on, for God's sake, Jimmy.
Strange.
I just remember, because it always rained up at Siddal, always muddy and stuff. Getting into Bath, coming out, and you still were filthy.
Yeah, it was a pointless exercise, them baths.
It was just very, very, very strange, really, and I had to still have a shower when I got home and stuff. But I always remember, like you mentioned, like the walk of fame, standing. Like I always remember going to Siddal Clubhouse and seeing Ben Beaver's Wembley shirt.
They've still got Mick Scott's Wembley shirt in there.
Have they?
Yeah. I think he got his losing one from the following year as well.
Yeah, they did. I always remember they had the next to Ben Beaver's one, they had the Wigan shirt as well, and the Wigan shirt from the '88 final as well. Just weird memories like that. I didn't play for those sort of prestigious clubs.
I like all these clubs when you go in, they've got up shirts on the wall. You know, you look at all these players. You know who the players are, but they've got, you know, the fact that they'll hang their shirts in the clubhouse. You know, Simon Griggs' Ivan shirt. Simon or Scott won it too. You know. Yeah. I think one of Simon Griggs' cup final shirts in Siddal Clubhouse.
Just Salt and Stone one as well.
There's loads of players. They all play different. You've got like some England schoolboy shirts, Luke Robinson's, Johnny Lawless's England schoolboy shirts up.
Well, it should be. It gives the young players something to aspire to. Look, this place is a centre of excellence, and this
definitely.
If you listen to your coaches and you work hard and you believe in what we're trying to do, then you could have your name on the back of a shirt up here. They should have every professional player that's made it somewhere on that plaque.
Do you know what I really, really like when representative honours are announced and they announce a squad or a team? It actually says like the club played with.
They have a round in Australia, I'm sure, where the players all wear their amateur socks.
Yeah.
I'm sure they've been letting the NRL the past couple of years.
I know Barbarians do wear club socks if you play for Barbars and that, but no, it's just always funny because it's like I'm going to name drop again. I played a lot of my amateur rugby with Jermaine McGilvery, and it's really weird where you see like heavyweights like Siddal and Wigan St Pat's and Stanning Lorraine's, whatever, and you see next to Jermaine McGilvery, Deaton, he's not been there for 20 years and that. But it's really good that they've got that link there, and you're absolutely right what you're saying. Does it inspire you, Ryan, when you walk along the corridors and see those shirts there, thinking the next 5 or so years, I want my shirt to be up there?
Yeah, as you walk out to the pitch in the change rooms, there's like pictures of them, like basically like when the first team won the cup in the past, and pictures of different teams and stuff. It's just got quotes in the dressing rooms and stuff like that.
I mean, he's lucky as well. You know, he's got Siddal legend Das Phillips as his coach.
Yeah.
You know, he bleeds Siddal. You cut him in half. It says Siddal through the middle of him. You know, his passion for that club is absolutely immense. I'm not saying he's not the only one, but he has got such a passion. Him and his wife, they'll do anything for that club. You know, and his son, Shoulders, we call him. He's going to be a good player.
Yeah.
He's already 6'1" now. He's 14. He's 6'1". He's massive, but he plays. He can play.
Yeah.
He really can.
It's like you mentioned before. Like, obviously, your aspirations are to play for Super League and international and Halifax above all was obviously. But even if you don't necessarily do that, you're part of an institution where the first team wins national cups. They get to challenge cup rounds and play against the big boys and that. And like I mentioned off air, the examples of people like Chester Butler, like Joe Martin, like Tom Garrett, who get that chance there. So you're definitely in the right place, Ryan, and I'm sure with your dad's guidance, you'll definitely go far. He raves about it, saying,
"Don't listen to him; just let him drive you there." Listen to your coach. Right.
But no, you'll
going back. I think we can move on naturally. Actually, you said about players harking back to the thing that we mentioned off Scott Griggs' testimonial shirt.
Yeah,
and he's done that to include Siddal. He's done it. It's blue and white. It is a Halifax that he's done it to him more like a Siddal shirt. They said that he wants it to go back to his amateur roots.
Definitely.
Great. He's got the green in for his Ireland connection. I'm not quite sure how he's Irish, but I'm sure there's someone somewhere. That'll be because they sell Guinness at Siddal. Could be that.
And that's the thing where I'm glad that they do it, because you don't play international rugby without playing for a club. You can't play for a club unless you play for an amateur or community club, as they're called now, and there is that natural progression there. So it's great that he's got that, and it's just very convenient that blue and white hoops Halifax coloured as well as Siddal there.
You have to remember though, the only reason Halifax wear blue and white is because they wanted to wear red and black, but the material costs too much.
Yeah.
True Yorkshire fashion, someone came on with blue and white.
Very true.
You've got a bit of a try.
So, but it's good. It's a good connection.
Definitely.
As well, like us lads growing up around here, we're so lucky that there are so many community clubs that you can get a game round here, and everyone really cares about the game, and the game's embedded in the town. When we were coming up, you know, if you from somewhere, I don't know, down in the sticks, and you've got to travel 5 hours just to play one game. You had the Halifax Cup, then you had the Yorkshire Cup, then you had the West Riding Cup, and then you had so many games and chances to play the game around here and improve. So I think that shouldn't be taken for granted. And maybe Siddal at the minute are the top performing, but I love the fact that we're in an area where there's a thriving amateur game at all levels. It's brilliant.
Oh, definitely. You know, Siddal playing the top division for Yorkshire at the under 14s, as do Edend. So you've got two teams not very far apart, yet of a similar standard.
Yeah. It can only be good news for Halifax, because fair enough, you'll have your likes of Morgan Smithies and so will go to where your Super League clubs will get first pick there, but the rest of them, you could have your late developers like Chester Butlers, for instance, who will find the way to Halifax. So
we mentioned that game. We mentioned that game at Edinburgh, Leeds under 16s versus New South Wales Country, and 7 players in the starting Leeds team are from Siddal.
Wow.
You know, that says something. And I think the rest of that age group are grew at Wigan and Warrington. So, but it's not just Siddal. It's fine sitting here talking about Siddal, but Edend, Ovenden,
they all do really good work. Like I say,
Greetland.
There's plenty of clubs who are turning out good players, and they're
definitely all, like you mentioned.
Clubs, they've got club legends. They've got people who believe for their clubs, and that's great.
Jacob Fairbank came through and Sonny Red Barber.
Yeah. There you go, some good knowledge there, Ryan.
Ads is an adopted son as well, isn't he, of Ellen, I'm sure.
Never
played.
I don't anymore. Yeah, Ads coach under 14s last season now. So,
there's a very good link in terms of like Halifax and the local community. Like was on radio show last year. We got people from likes of Greetland and Elland and Illingworth and Ovenden. Yeah, exactly. And it's great to have that. It's a hotbed of rugby is Halifax, and more like knees shine on it. I'm glad that Siddal's finally getting the recognition that they deserve, really, and hopefully it's not too long. Like I know Elland, Matt Shaw did a piece on Elland. He's an Elland lad, and did a really good video that went along with that. And hopefully the like Greetland and Illingworth and Ovenden and the like will get the time in the sun as well. Let's move on slightly, because we are all Halifax fans here, but we've got multi-generational things going on here. Ryan, but I said before we even started, I think you'd be in an awful position to only support Halifax through rubbish. However, you remember the 2010 Grand Final. What an introduction to to rugby league supporting life. That game there. What are your memories from there and supporting Fax through your short life at the moment? What were your highlights, favourite players, that sort of thing?
Well, I used to like Ben Black. He used to always like.
Yeah, but you were bigger than him. You know, you were 4 years old, but you're still bigger than him. It was like you were scared of Frank because he was huge, but then you were like eye to eye.
I remember that grand final when obviously had to move stands and obviously stuff like that. And then I remember just the drop goal. Everyone just. I remember my grandma saying to my dad, "Don't go in the picture." Just anything. Just yeah, it was a good moment. I remember it all.
Yeah.
Great experience. Then I remember the Northern Rail Cup final. I remember everyone celebrating at the front, and then since then it's only been Bolton, which has been the main highlight really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those showpiece games are brilliant. As I say, even me and Rick to an extent, and you, Brew, growing up, we had some big games and stuff and big seasons, but we didn't have those kind of one-off showpiece games really until we dropped down and did go to like the championship.
I still think one of the best games I remember, at 2005, I think 2005 we played Cats away in the playoffs. Might be a little bit away. Might be 2007, I can't remember exactly. And
2005.
Dave Larder scored and pulled it level really, really late in the day. And I think Cats just nipped us, obviously, so they got to the final and went back up. But we really, the plan was we really did upset the,
Ask the Oracle, Brew. Ask the Oracle, watch.
I ball boyed against Leeds Rhinos, remember, in the qualifiers.
Yeah. Oh, in the Super Middle Eight, yeah. What was that like, seeing like absolute superstars of the game that close up?
Yeah, it was good because after the game, as you go like to the opposite end, you can just talk to him like whilst you're walking.
Yeah.
And ask for a picture and stuff like that. Because when Ashton Sims used to play for Toronto, I just got a picture of him after. It's nice that you can do that because they're all friendly and everything.
Oh, if we played Toronto now, Hagee be ball boy. He'd be down the front of the high vis around his neck. I'll be a ball boy, Sonny Bill.
I would wear one and it'd say, Sonny Bill, can I have your shirt, shorts, socks, jock strap? Everywhere.
And babies as well.
Yeah, Ryan, that leading twist and shout. You'd be down the front ball boy.
Hey, Toronto loved twisting and shout when we were over there. But no, it's fantastic that we all know that rugby league players are like inclusive in that. But it's good to know that for ball, they do the same with ball boys as well. Ball boys and ball girls. Right, mouthful there.
Ball people.
Ball managers.
Ball persons.
Ball return operatives.
Yes, definitely. We'll have kind of a bit of a reminiscence, a bit of kind of choosing of stuff. Who's your all-time favourite Halifax player then, Ryan?
Good question.
I like Rob Lawrence. Because when I remember as a kid, I used to always have a picture of him or I used to always talk to him. And then when I was playing with Sheffield, I remember still having talked to him. He used to remember me. And when he came back a couple of years ago, I was still talking then.
The thing with Rob is, though, right, for me, is one of them players, when he got the ball, you was excited because you knew what he could do. He didn't always do it, right? Which is why he played for us. He didn't play in Super League. But when he got the ball, it was exciting because you knew if he got that gap, he was going to go. And he was always looking for the gap. We used to take the piss a bit, saying, he always goes sideways.
Yeah, he infuriated me when I heard that.
But he would go sideways, and if he found the gap, he would go. And you knew he could do it. And one of my favourite players to watch in the past 15, 20 years is Shad Royston. Because he did find the gap, and he did score tries. He scored 100 tries for the club. And, that's just, we haven't got a 30 try a season player anymore. I don't think they even exist anymore. So...
No. Yeah, Royston's record's just daft, isn't it? Isn't it something like 132 tries in 134 games or something?
Something ridiculous, yeah.
Really?
But he was in the same team as Robinson, so they were both scoring best part of 25 tries a season.
But Ryan, you're looking at that, yeah? Don't you play the same position as Rob?
Yeah.
So have you obviously, if he was your Fax hero growing up, have you modelled any of your game on his style of play, would you say?
I mean, he used to intercept it a lot. I intercept it.
Ryan always goes for the interception. he can read the game. He gets it. Yeah, he gets them. He goes. I've got a series of photos. I didn't catch it. I just went.
Yeah. Brew was ridiculously quick, but he just never caught the ball.
Yeah. Whereas Ryan, he's just got. But when he played football, he would say he can watch a game, he can read the game really well, and his coaches say he's always looking for the interception, and if he gets it, he's gone because he is quick. I've got a series of photos on my phone from playing up at Elland, and it's literally when he took the ball, it's like a series of 5 photos, 1, 2, 3, and you can just see him go. And he did it up at.
Are there any other players that you say you've sort of modelled that on that? Because interceptions are quite a good skill, but if you get it wrong, it can hurt your team, can't it? Any other players that you've seen do that you think, yeah, I want to emulate that?
Well, Ferguson in the NRL, I've seen him with his skill and his ability to because he can kick as well. Because I've seen that try where he Gubba kicks it and runs around the defender and just puts it down. It's like you can do that as well. You can just take it into the game, and
we all showed our age a bit then, because when you said kick the ball around the man and score, we all immediately thought Tommy Martin, didn't we, boys?
Yeah.
It's part of the game you don't see anymore. When was the last time you saw someone do a chip over and catch the ball and carry on?
Yeah.
Probably.
I think last time I saw it.
That did that amazing score kick. That was amazing league highlight.
Ben Black did a chip and go, chipped it over the defence, caught it and scored against Lee years ago. Hobson were playing for Lee. That's how long ago it was. And I reckon it was pre-2010 because I'm sure the Skircoat stand and the South and the East stand was still getting built, which doesn't really narrow it down. That was about a 15-year period, wasn't it? But you just don't see it anymore. You don't see someone chip it over, chip and catch.
Well, hopefully the younger generation, like the lads that Siddal are creating, will play with a bit more freedom. We're starting to see that from some of these younger lads. We mentioned off air as well before, didn't we, about obviously the pros that have come out of Siddal. Another one's moved. I know it's general rugby league news, but Niall Evans has gone from Salford to Cass. Annie, what do you make of that move?
Good signing for Cass. Massive loss for Salford.
Yeah. I'm really surprised that Salford. Well, he's come out of Salford. I did do a lot to keep him, but especially after losing Jackson Hastings, you want to build your team around Evans. He's on the verge. He's on the verge of getting full England honours in Great Britain. So if he carries on the way he's going, and a good fullback, you need a good spine in your team. You need a good fullback, halfback, hooker, loose. And for Salford to lose that, granted it could be at the end of a season, whatever season that we have, but it's a massive, massive loss.
Yeah, I agree. Again, he's one of those X-Factor players that can make things happen. And I think someone put the video out of him. In fact, it might have been Hastings that I saw retweet it of when Jordan Rankin broke away in the playoff game last year at Salford.
Yes.
And
yes.
Scored, they'd have probably gone and won the game, and he chased back and he tackled him in corner.
Yeah, remember that? Yeah, he covered some serious ground to get there as well, didn't he?
Yeah. So I think Darryl Powell saw that and we're like, oh, I'm having a bit of that if there's a chance.
It's the X-Factor player.
Yeah.
The few and far between. I don't believe we've got one, which isn't always a bad thing because you're not relying on one man. We're a great team, Halifax, at the minute.
Yeah. We have our focal points like Morel and the like. Morel takes us around the pitch and that, but yeah, I completely get where you're going. And when in 2010, when you started watching, Ryan, we were a good team, but we had our standout players. We had Black, Royston, Warrensy, Henkovic, Patterson,
Patterson's a great player. I think he didn't get the plaudits he deserved at the time because there were so many other good players in the team.
Yeah, exactly.
No, never team just to get promoted. But it's just the way, because one week will be really good, next week will just be just different.
That's called being a Halifax fan, Ryan. You'll learn that.
That's a theme, Ryan.
I've watched Halifax for 30 years, and it's always been like that. Inconsistent. We are consistently inconsistent, and that's the most frustrating.
When we're bad, but when we're good, it's amazing.
Amazing. Are we rugby league heroes in general then, right? So you said you like Rob Warrensy and Ben Black. who like in the world of rugby league, both Super League and RL?
I'd say like when I was younger, I used to like Kevin Sinfield. I just like just the good players who like Rob Burrow, just small, quick. You just want to look up to the good ones, really, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, they look up to everyone. Rob Burrow certainly looks up to everyone.
He did. But again, Ryan's lived through an age that hasn't got the names that we had. You know, we had Sean Long, Andy Farrell, Paul Schoolfoot, Lee Greers. You know, and that's only the back end of it. Going further back, you've got Martin, you know, you've got Edwards, you've got Fire, you've got household names. Rugby hasn't got a household name anymore.
Yeah.
And I don't know why.
And if they are, the kind of union, like your Sonny Bills and Sam Burgess, they're the only reason why they're kind of known, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
We've got a minor celebrity in the team, haven't we? Our Keeg.
Who?
Our Keegs.
Keegan Hurst, yeah.
Keegan Hurst, right? Keegan Hurst, though, yeah, Sky will phone him up if they need an answer to a story such as the Israel Folau thing, right?
Well, he's done some TV work. I think on a talk. Have you seen is it Matt Garside on one of these? Do you remember when Garside played for us? He's on one of these dating reality shows. Have you not seen
Keegan Hurst?
I've seen it on Facebook.
But Keegan Hurst, right, could be a huge asset to rugby and professional sport.
Yeah.
But instead it's, you know, Israel Folau signed for Catalan, let's phone Keegan Hurst, see what he thinks. But actually, right, he's a role model to a lot of people. And, you know, he's a bloody good player as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's not it seems a very cynical way of putting it, but he's not really capitalised on the traction that he got from coming out. So like you look at likes of Gareth Thomas, who's made a really, really good impact on that. But again, he's just started being a personal trainer, hasn't he, Keegan Hurst, and obviously he's got a commitment with IFAX as well. So it's a difficult one, but you're absolutely right. What you're saying, Rick, is a
a big criticism of mine.
Point as well about you saying that Ryan's era hasn't had the names, the stars. Well, he's just named a Golden Boot winner and a multi-grand final winner. So maybe they're not. We won't put them up against Edwards and all this sort of stuff. But looking back, we'll then go, hang on a minute. Rob Burrow won. I mean, how many? 6 grand finals or something? 5 grand finals?
Yeah.
4, however many. And
I think the thing with Rob Burrow, right, which I like, is he's always going to remember for being the player that he was. You know, he's got a terrible disease. His life's going to be limited. But people aren't going to remember him for having motor neuron disease. They're going to remember Rob Burrow for being the absolute hard as nails, you know, dynamite player. That's what, 10 years' time, people will say Rob Burrow. You won't go, oh, that lad who got ill. You'll say, no, Rob Burrow was that little man who played for Leeds and that won all the champions.
It's like when you think of someone like Georgie Best in football, people just think, oh, he's just a drunk who wasted his time. They're not going to say, he's a brilliant Man United football. They will always be that other side to him. Rob Burrow, yes, it's awful what's going on with him, and I hope he gets the cure that he deserves and stuff. But you think of Rob Burrow, and you only think of little man who fought above his weight. And
think about that trying in that final where he goes straight through the middle, don't you, and scores under the stick.
I think I said, does anyone else in rugby do a scampering run? So whenever Rob Burrow got the ball, right, and set off, Steve-O, he done a scampering run. He didn't say anybody else. Right? And that's just Rob Burrow. He was a great player to watch.
There's only 2 players that I've known in during his time who do that. Darryl Clark, and then the other one was Penke.
Yeah.
Penke used to destroy things like that.
Well, you were Headingley with me. You know, we used to go on a Friday night and we used to get free tickets. When Rob Burrow was about 17 and got man at match. And they couldn't give him beer in bar after the game.
It wasn't Burrow, it was someone else. I know we met Rob Burrow.
Yeah.
Someone else, someone who just broke into the team. I know exactly who you mean. Oh, I can't remember.
Richard Brothers, the one that broke into Lee's team at really young.
Possibly.
I'm sure he got my debut.
This will be 18 years ago now. I can't.
Yeah, it'll be about 2002, 2003. But yeah, I know exactly what you mean. But yeah, I just remember Rob being
Yeah.
he's small. You know he's small when you watch him on telly, but when you actually meet him, it's just genuinely like.
What a player.
Definitely, yeah. Well, that was a nice little reminisce. Hopefully, we've got a game to go into these next few months. There's been a meeting today in terms of how to move the game forward. Well, that's another topic for another day. Thank you very much for coming on YouTube. I know we've tried to do stuff with this podcast in terms of physically and stuff, but yes, life and lockdowns got in the way. But again, thank you very much for coming on, Ryan. All the very best in your young career, and when you do make it big, and also please, you know who I am. Get me in with Sky Sports and exclusive rights for interviews and all that stuff, and get Rick and John as a producer.
You're not pretty enough to do pitch side interviews. We've got that. Is it Jenna Brooks now?
I'll be the one behind the camera. I'm not good on these sort of things.
I'm not leaving without saying one controversial thing, right? Jenna Brooks looks like Angela Powers with a Snapchat filter. Right? Just my opinion. But it just looks like someone's turned the filter on.
Well, on that note,
I was just going to say a really heartfelt thing about, this show's proved one thing, you should support your grassroots clubs and the community games, the spirit of it, but let's just leave it on what Bruce said. Yeah.
Definitely. And just to say, I don't share that point of view at all. Jenna Brooks is absolutely lovely, as are all the Sky team.
I didn't say she wasn't.
And just like that, Brew's got another band coming.
Yeah. Why has my Sky subscription just stopped?
I wish it would. It cost me a fortune.
Anyways, thank you very much for coming on. We'd love to have you on in the near future. Rick, as always, thank you very much for what you do. And for myself, adios, amigos.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.